This video will contain spoilers for Neon White, but I'm not your mom, so you can make your own choices. Welcome to another episode of Dude Have You Played? This time we're playing Neon White, and due to me not looking up info for the game when we recorded this initially, I'm going to go ahead and give a rundown on some background information for the game. But if you want to go ahead and skip this, I'll leave a timestamp on the screen that you can skip to when we actually all start talking about it. Neon White was released on June 16th in 2022. It was developed by Angel Matrix and published by Annapurna Interactive. Neon White is a first-person shooter that takes inspiration from Slay the Spire, which had come out in 2017 while Ben Esposito, the lead designer for Neon White, had been working on the prototype for the game. You may notice the inspiration comes in the form of the weapon card mechanic, which gives players the ability to shoot enemies as well as discard cards from your hand that gives you more movement options. This mechanic is the reason why I compare Neon White to crack cocaine in video game form. Getting into the story, you play as White, an amnesiac man who has been summoned to heaven by the Believers, who are a group of heavenly residents that are distinctly not angels. White is what's known as a Neon, who are sinners raised from hell to participate in heaven's 10 days of judgment competition. The goal of the 10 days is to slay as many heaven-invading demons as possible and raise your Neon rank. The Neon who manages to get the highest rank at the end of the 10 days is allowed to stay in heaven for 1 year until the next competition starts. There are specifically 4 Neons that you'll be interacting with frequently throughout the game's runtime, these being red, yellow, violet, and green. Each of them seem to have a connection to White, but because of his amnesia, he's not sure if this connection is good or bad. That's all the setup you'll need going into this video, so without further ado, we'll go ahead and get right into it.
Hopefully we put on screen beforehand that we're saying spoilers of this amazing story in this game.
You say like, oh, not to avoid spoiling people, like, listen, that is the plot that is given to you within the first like 10 minutes of the fucking game.
Yeah.
Everything past that is we'll get into that later.
All right. Yeah, thanks for summing up the story. Thanks.
All right. It's better to burn.
I don't think. Hold on. I don't think we have Discord audio recorded for that.
Nope.
I'll just put a message saying he left.
You can edit in a fucking Discord leave sound.
No,
I think text on the screen that says he left is funny.
It's so funny. I'm gonna do it again. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, please.
Oh, he did it again.
Oh shit!
I lied.
Oh, fuck. God damn it!
He got us again.
Anyway,
That rascal.
enough taking over.
So I figure because we have some, this is kind of going to be mixed because we love a lot of aspects of this game. We really don't like other aspects of this game. So
Mr. Host, lead us away.
yeah, I feel like it's good to start with a few things that we did not like that much. Well, actually, no, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to say what's good. But be positive first. It's a good game.
Okay.
It is a fantastic time to play. Like, it is just, you get into it super fast, and you're like, okay, this is fun. And then as you learn more mechanics, you just have to go faster and faster and do more stuff. And before I knew it, like, 8 hours had gone by.
8? Hold on. Give me 3 seconds.
Like 8 hours when I first started.
Yeah.
All of that time was spent only in the first act of the game.
Yes.
Of like 12 acts.
Yes. I got to mission 3 after like a week. Then I had to leave for 4 days. And then the last 3 days I've been playing it nonstop.
So bringing up hours, I feel like there's a hour count of like 80 and a half. I don't know why that number comes to head. Evan, do you want to say your opinion on the game and why that 80 and a half might be relevant?
I think the game is pretty good, and I also think that it really encourages you to get better times, and that's a problem.
Oh, why? Why is that a problem, Evan?
It's a problem because I am ranked 200 in the world on sprint in mission 3.
I am very proud of you, Evan. How long did it take you to beat the game, though? Like, what? I just gotta know.
60 hours. It took me 60 hours to beat the game. And before we started this game, we checked on the website, how long does it take to beat Neon White? The actual, like, if you play normally, it'll take you 11 hours to beat it. It took me roughly 6 times the required amount of time to beat it.
I would say you're closer to 70 hours, Evan. You were only AFK on the game for about 12.
When you beat the game, it gives you a total time for how long you've been playing the game.
Yeah.
So my save file has 59 hours on it. 59 point,
okay.
like 55 hours or something like that.
I think I have like, I don't even know what the time is. I think it's like 50 or something. But yeah.
I think moving around in this game and shooting in this game is really fun. Holy, oh my god, shooting demons and walls a lot is good.
It feels incredible. It feels incredible. He's saying it in a very dry way. It feels incredible to do because you're in the moment. He's dead inside because he like 100%ed it.
I 100%ing it isn't quite right because there's some things I didn't do. What I did do was, for some context, there are 4 medals you can earn. There's the bronze medal, the silver medal, the gold medal, and the ace medal. The ace medal is like the fastest time that a person should get. Then there's a secret medal, one after that, called the red medal, also known as, and will probably be described in the future as, dev times.
Yep.
That are significantly harder to get by like an absurd margin.
Yes.
Than the ace medal.
Correct.
I decided roughly like 10 hours, 15 hours into the game that I was going to dev time every single mission in the game. I regret it.
There it is.
I was waiting for it.
And yeah, he did dev time every single level and every single mission in this game.
Correct. And Evan, do you think that you're any better than the average player on this game, or worse because you fell into the trap?
I don't know. It's really hard to tell. I think a lot of the skills are pretty skills are transferable. If you've played a lot of Quake Champions, or you've played a lot of Valorant or Rainbow Six Siege, you could probably transfer a lot of those skills into Neon White, but
I wouldn't put Rainbow Six Siege in there with it.
Probably not, but like snapping to heads and snapping to...
That'd be CSGO.
So, if I may interject here for a second.
No.
I don't know if it's just my experience, but I feel like this game is, like, for aim-wise, I feel like that's only 10% of the game. I feel like the majority of the game is basically learning workarounds is how I'll call them. Basically, things the devs intended but don't teach you until like the final mission of the game.
I disagree with that. I very much disagree.
I don't know. I don't find shooting as important.
So here's what?
I don't find it as important as movement. I think the shooting is a very much minor part compared to the movement.
I heavily disagree with that one.
This
Chief.
man has not played Tripwires. Oh
listen,
my god.
Listen. Okay, listen. So no, here's the thing: is that with gameplay, like how you said, they don't teach you stuff until the very end. Some bullshit. Because they throughout the game they teach you new things because they're like showing you, like they're getting new cards and everything. You're kind of seeing how they all work. You learn the mechanics of the cards. One excellent example of this is like very early on. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like I think the third mission in Act 1, where you have to jump across like a pillar, destroy like a circle of balloon demons, and then go into the end. It's a very short level. I think it takes like 12 seconds. If you're fast.
Yeah.
But like average time is maybe like 20 seconds. And you're like, okay, cool, great. And then later on it shows you, hey, you can do this with your card, which I don't believe they show you in that level. Maybe I just didn't read it.
No, I believe you're right.
There's definitely mechanics that are shown later on that are not shown early.
Yeah, and then because I went through that, and then I went back to that level once I learned that mechanic, and I immediately fixed my time. My criticism is that with that specific instance, I don't feel like that happens again in the game.
That being said, I don't think it necessarily needs to. I think what it's doing is totally fine in stretching out what it teaches you and when it teaches you. Because if it tried to like throw all the mechanics at you within the first 5 levels of the game, that'd be kind of just a turn off to a lot of players. They tried to make this game as accessible as possible.
Correct. Yeah. The one thing that comes to my mind, and this is why I say I feel like the game is like 80 to 90% movement, with the rest of it being aiming, because I did not practice my aim, but there was one thing that was shown as a way to get a gift in a later level, and it was double bombing with I forget what the name of it is, the purple weapon.
Pulse.
Pulse? Is that the machine gun?
It's Purify.
Purify. Yeah,
Purify,
double bombing with Purify, because there is a later level that gives you, right before you're supposed to come across the gift, it gives you 2 of them, and it's showing you that you can double bomb to get twice the height. It also shows it through through like showing that you get higher verticality by hitting multiple TNT barrels. So like that's what I'm saying is like it is mostly movement with a like side thing of shooting. Yes, you have one level you can say early on that is all shooting, and later on, yes, aiming is important with the later with the blast weapon, but it still does not trump clean movement, because I was able to ace almost every single level by just clean movement alone.
So I agree with that yes, movement is very important. However, if your aim is shit, like all the movement in the world can't really help you with that. Because there's a lot that you have to like snap to it, so you have to like aim super precisely. So like for example, like the one we were doing last night, like while we were like before we left the call, that one where you found the tech is
so
just
fun.
you because you can have clean movement, but if you're not snapping to each demon, because the thing about this is that in later levels, and this is fine to say honestly, like one of the cards lets you like pretty much instant transmission over to a demon and instantly destroy it
Within a certain range, yeah.
within a certain range. Too bad the range is stupid and insane.
It's incredibly long until you fucking need it, and then you're like, why won't it reach?
Oh yes. But yes, you can just snap to it, but if you're not snapping to it, you can lose like, and it's very minuscule. Like it can shave milliseconds, if not maybe like a second off. But that 1 second is a lot in this game. Like milliseconds are stupidly important.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, as a compounding point for how important aiming actually is, again, this is from the perspective of dev timing, is a lot of dev times required you to be really, really conservative with the ammo that they gave you. You cannot waste time picking up extra guns or spending time finding ammo elsewhere. Instead, you have to do a special route that does not get you access to extra ammo. So you have to make every single shot count, and if you miss a single shot, you probably have to restart the level. On top of that, there are a lot of situations where turning your camera also changes your movement, because strafing left and right is bad movement, so you want to keep your finger on the W key, and turning your camera in any direction will adjust where you're moving. So as much as movement is important, aiming ruins your movement. So you need to have incredible aim to snap to things and snap back to where you're moving, so that you don't waste time moving in the direction that you're shooting.
Yeah. And I do want to clarify my point. And just like Evan said, all of my perspective is from the aspect of beating the game normally. So like there is an achievement for acing every level, but not dev timing. I went for acing everything. So that's where my opinion comes into fact, is just beating the game as intended, because it was not intended to get dev time. Don't even try to argue that with me.
I will argue everything.
No. Evan's gripes make solidify to me that dev time is not intended.
No, of course it's not intended. It's the dev's time. It's a secret. I was just secret hunting.
Yeah, it's a secret. You are not told what the dev time is until you have beaten it. That's a very important thing about dev time.
Fuck that.
Is that once I accidentally found a dev time, I'm like, what the hell is this red metal? And then I realized it's dev time. I was like, oh no.
And then you tried to drag me into it.
And we succeeded for the most part, because your complaint was kind of funny, because you're like, okay, I don't really like competition games. I don't like doing times. And we were like, okay, cool. I talked to you again like a week later, and you were like, okay, so I'm just doing these times, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, you're getting super into it. I'm like, yeah.
Let me clarify, because I clarified this with Evan, and yes, I voiced an opinion to Evan before which I'll explain that joke like later. But no, I told Evan that I only liked the rocket stages and the final weapon stages just because of how the movement was. I hate any level that isn't Dominion or that. I hate them. Like, it is the worst. I cannot aim with the SMG. I cannot aim with the LMG. I can't aim with a dog shit.
That's very interesting, considering how you're saying that aiming is not important at all.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like
I'm saying dev. I
skill issue.
Listen,
Regardless,
I just said it was because of purely the weapon.
Ignoring that, the point is, you're saying that for the game in its entirety, or this is the way it appeared to us, that you were saying that movement is far and above way more important than aiming ever will be, which we both disagree with, because aiming is pretty damn important.
Now, I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm saying that, like I said, aiming didn't get me the ace on every level. Movement did. You beat my time several times because you had both, Evan, but I was still able to ace off just movement alone.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's not important.
I never said that it wasn't important. I said that it wasn't as important as movement, which is entirely a different statement altogether.
Well, this is completely irrelevant point. I think Barn and I both agree that you're wrong, and we should just move past it.
No, I'm right. That's fine.
Yeah. But mainly because like Final honestly is like just all around, like aim, like regardless if we think aiming is more important or movement is more important, game feel, like the gameplay itself,
it's so good.
Amazing. Like I said at the beginning, this is crack cocaine to me. I was hooked instantly.
The developers have created such a tight and incredible feeling experience in gameplay that I have not seen in a shooter for a long time.
I haven't seen in any movement, like in almost any game that I've played, I have not had as clean and precise of movement as I did in Neon White.
Yeah, the one game that I've ever experienced that had kind of like movement that made me feel as happy and like fun to play as this, weirdly enough, is a very old Attack on Titan fan game from like 2014.
Oh, don't remind me of my high school days.
I played the shit out of that.
You were
and
too
I'll
good.
show, and I showed like gameplay of it, like for those of you who don't know. But like,
it looked like shit.
It looked like shit. It was a very, very simple chibi-esque like thing. Very like anyone who's familiar with Attack on Titan season 1, that is basically the entirety of it. You can play as a bunch of different characters from that. You can make your own character. You can adjust your stats. Whatever. You just go around slaying titans. It is way harder than you fucking think.
It is.
Playing this game brought me back when I was a kid and was playing Quake 3 Arena or
Unreal Tournament,
Pariah, or Halo 3, Halo 2, etc. It brought me back to playing shooters that emphasized almost entirely its movement and weapon techs with movement that you just couldn't get anywhere else. It reminded me of this game that goes completely under the radar called Red Eclipse. That is like beautiful. The movement in this game feels sublime. The gameplay is phenomenal.
Oh, Red Eclipse is what our work devs played in Office. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I remember this game. I thought it sounded familiar. But I have to agree. Movement and shooting in this game, as much as I downplayed the shooting, do not make it think that I'm saying that shooting is not important. Holy shit, every weapon in this game felt amazing, other than the Godspeed. I hated the Godspeed. I hate the Godspeed.
One of my favorite weapons.
To shoot, loved it.
I love the Godspeed.
Yeah, the Godspeed.
I was trying to remember which one it was.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just trying to remember what one it was. You go on.
Godspeed ability, I love it, and the Godspeed shooting, I love it. I know how much you expressed how much you disliked it, which is an opinion. But
yes, I should have been quiet. I apologize.
I stayed quiet every time you mentioned that, because inside I was like, I kind of love the Godspeed. I don't know what this hate is. You just don't know the distance that it dashes.
No, it's not that. So there's another weapon called Fireball. It's a shotgun that sends you in the direction you're looking for a set amount of speed for a set amount of distance. I don't know facts, so I'm not going to say facts. I love that weapon. The Fireball, one of my favorites. Favorite movement abilities, just because of how reliable it was. The Fireball, no matter what point in the ability you are, it will destroy stuff unless you are completely out of it. And that I had that happen so rarely. But the Godspeed will lose its hitbox like halfway through its movement ability. And the amount of time that I spent hitting a door over and over because I hit it half a second too early pissed me off.
Twitter pop-up that says, like, added context. It doesn't end halfway through its thing. It ends at the end, but you have some follow-up movement that happens at the end of the distance that you dash.
It just felt like it was too short.
Community noted with fucking neon white.
But no, you do not, like, with the Fireball, your hitbox starts when you start falling. With the Godspeed, your hitbox stops well before you start falling. So the movement is still happening from the Godspeed ability, which is my problem. Because I'm like, I am still not falling. I am just face first into a door, smelling the wood it's made out of, not on the other side.
And I would probably hate the Godspeed for the same reason, except for the fact that another thing that Neon White does really, really well, which is they have a dedicated button for instantly restarting the level.
Yes.
And so anytime I would miss a Godspeed based on like just not having the right distance, I would just press F and I would just go about it again. I lose maybe like 10 seconds of my life.
Evan, how long are the final levels of the game?
Like 30 seconds.
Yeah, with like unintended glitches, the dev time on the final levels is 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah.
You want to know what
I feel
weapon
like-
was in those? Godspeed. Anyways, go ahead. Or barn. Go. Anyways,
No, I was gonna say that I feel like the shorter levels, there's a lot of tighter movement needed that is to shave off those milliseconds,
Yeah.
which is amazing. It feels so good when you get those like mini, like those little tiny improvements. Bigger levels, like, yes, they're longer, but because like you go through it, you see, okay, I can save time here because it's so long. I feel like
agree.
that's why like on the final level, I wasn't intending to replay it, but I was like, okay, I could do it faster here. I could do it faster here. I could do it faster here. I had the time to think about that. And then, of course, once I found the speedrun strat to do it, I was like, okay, I'm going to blow this shit out of the water.
yeah, 20 seconds.
Yeah. That was just a stupid thing, and it is absolutely not intended.
Yeah, the secret tech for the final actual level of the game, not the final boss fight of the game, is maybe a little bit silly.
Yeah,
It is-
can I explain it, or?
Please do.
So the way you do it is you're chasing someone, and you have to follow them to the end of the level. That's fine. Takes, I think, average. I think the level's like maybe in like 50 seconds, maybe a minute.
I think actually it goes about 2 minutes total.
Oh, let me just look
Okay,
up the
yeah.
dev times really quick. I'll just go off that.
Yeah, no, the dev. Well, yeah, the dev time. Do the dev time. So
The dev time, I believe, is a minute 40.
Fuck that.
yeah, it's like it's in like we're talking about not the final boss, but the one before
Minute
that.
47 is the absolute final level.
Okay, yeah. So no, what this one is you will jump to the first area, take care of the monsters. You have 2 guns. You'll jump down to a small piece of land that you can land on, small piece of collision. You will aim precisely at the end of the level where you walk in, and you will shoot it. You will wait about 3 seconds, and if you did it correctly, the bullets will hit the level end, and you will win the level in like record time.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's very strange. You're not even necessarily shooting the exit to the level. You are shooting the exit to the level, but you have to go through a few walls that do not have collision, so you can't actually see the exit.
You just have to like aim, and if you don't get it after like 4 seconds, because it takes about 3 seconds to travel, you have to restart the level if you're trying for that. I was able to get it exactly once.
And then there's also the concept that you're not shooting the exit necessarily, you're shooting the back of the exit, because the front of the exit does not have the hitbox.
What?
Yeah, it is very stupid. It is very strange. Evan was not able to get it. I was able to get it exactly once.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's you could probably throw up a video and credit the person who did it, because I don't know if you got video of
Oh, I did. I got
yourself
video.
shooting it.
I got video.
Okay, there you go.
Oh yeah, throw up the video of you shooting the exit in this.
Please
case.
give credit to yourself.
No.
Yeah, give credit to Barnhouse.
Barn, comma, house.
Wouldn't it be house, comma,
and,
barn?
No. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is Barn your surname?
Well, listen, Mr. House was my father. Please call me Barn.
Anyways, Evan, go on. Sorry.
I don't know. It's a very weird thing that just like exists in no other level of the game, solely this level. This is the only level where there's this weird jank where you could shoot across the map with a pistol and shoot the back of the exit through a non-collision wall and win the level instantly.
That's so strange.
It's a very strange thing. Absolutely not intended.
Of course not.
No.
Or it might have been. You don't know. This is pretty cool.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it was. The best thing about it is, like, I just want to kind of go into a tangent, is that I was looking up, like, the explanation for it. Someone found this on accident because they were just kind of shooting randomly, and just, like, they were looking stuff with, like, a cheat engine to kind of, like, go around the level. And they just got bored, so they shot the level, and they won. And they were like, what the fuck? Hold on a second. It was found on accident, and I think that's the funniest part about it.
Honestly hilarious.
And the devs, obviously, they could probably, like, patch it, but they're like, no, this is funny. This is cool. Like, they made a game specifically about speedrunning, so the fact that there is glitches that people can do to beat it faster is, like, almost seems intended, right?
Yeah, of course.
You gotta
Yeah,
embrace
it's cool as hell. And I just, the gameplay is, like, the crowning part. Like, I mean, I say the crowning. It is the most important thing in this game, and they nailed it.
Yeah,
And then, if I may pop in here,
I was gonna transition just as well. So please do.
the gameplay is amazing, and I feel like the only thing that holds Neon White back is what was just ham-fisted in there, just shoved with all the force that they could in the dialogue. It is probably in my top 5 worst dialogue. And when I say dialogue, I mean a culmination of story, voice acting, and writing. All 3 of those together make for the worst experience I've ever been through in recent video games. Because, it's like they took the annoying parts of every anime character and shoved them into an individual character for each annoying piece. and made it 10 times worse. That's where I'll step down now. I'll let you guys talk about it, because it... Ooh.
I did not have such an issue with the dialogue. I was like, okay, you know what? I chuckled a little bit. Like, some parts were fun. For the most part, I wasn't really entertained with it. Like, there was, like, because, I mean, I'm never going to say anything about my boy Yellow. Yellow was, like, he was my boy, all right? That was my man right there.
It's the intentional character. Well, okay, spoilers. Skip ahead if you do not want major story point. It's the fact that they give you everything to love him right before he dies. That's why I hate it. Is because it's so cliche.
I mean, yeah, so story-wise, they do that. But, I mean, from the beginning, I actually was just like, I was fine with him. I loved him. I was not as big a fan, definitely not as big a fan, with Violet and Red.
Violet, you've got the misunderstood child that's vying for attention.
Violet.
And then with Red, you've got femme fatale of mysterious woman. And again, it's just, I'm going to step down. Evan, please talk.
Oh, okay. So here are my opinions about the story. I skipped all the dialogue. There's a fast forward button. I pressed F. I read through the first mission's dialogue, and then I went, wow, I'm really not interested in this. This is boring. I just want to get back to the gameplay. And then once I found the fast forward button, I just pressed fast forward. I didn't read a single line of dialogue. The few times I streamed the game, I pretended to read through the dialogue, or I didn't pretend. I read through the dialogue as quickly as possible, and then as soon as the stream was off, I just fast forwarded.
I only did that at one point.
I do not regret a single thing. It was worth it.
Correct. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah. See, I only did that for one point because I wanted kind of clean footage, so I kind of forced myself to go through it. And I wasn't like mad at it. They had dialogue. I wasn't like upset with it or anything. I was just like,
neither was I. I was so bored reading it, and I'm like, why am I reading this? I have no interest in this story. I had like the dialogue is so middling and bland and kind of just not well written that I don't know why I'm reading this. There's a fast forward button. I'm gonna use it.
But yeah, I only really use the fast forward button at one specific point, which I'll get into later, because it highlighted one of like my biggest fucking peeves in all video games. In video games, this is the one thing that I will get pissed at the most. But I'll get into that a little bit later because we're just kind of like doing this. The story, like the concept is interesting. You know, sinners trying to vie to get a place in heaven. That is what
I was say. It wore off quickly.
It wore off quickly, and honestly, you didn't feel like you were actually competing after maybe the first mission. After that, like you didn't even feel like you were in a competition. You felt like the competition was nothing. It was like, oh, there's a bunch of threats. There was no actual threatening. There was like nothing. The only threatening force was, and this isn't really spoilers because again they kind of pointed out very heavily, is Neon Green. He is the villain.
Yes.
The entire way through. They do not even try to pretend the angels or the believers is what they're called in this game. They don't actually have any kind of threat. They're just kind of condescending. That is the worst that they do in this game. And it is so fucking stupid because you would think they'd have a little bit more, they try to have a little bit more presence, right? No, they were not a force in the story at all, except for narrating how shitty, like, oh yeah, neons are so stupid. Oh, our believers, oh, it's amazing. We're so holier than that. You should be lucky to be here. That is the entire thing they do. Every piece of dialogue boils down to that, and I hated it. The believers were the ones I hated the most to read.
Oh my god, the fucking whatever of punishment and one something of punishment, something of reward or something. The two believers that you interact with every time you redeem one of the dumbass fucking tickets.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. I need to ask something. We're getting into a lot of side characters. Mikey stands for the angel Michael. Gabby stands for Gabriel. What the fuck does Raz stand for?
Raziel?
Is Raziel an angel?
I think that's Diablo 2.
Raziel.
No, Raziel is an angel.
Thank God. I didn't
Also known as Galitzer,
know Raziel. Okay.
is an angel within the teaching of Jewish mysticism, who is the angel of secrets, which would kind of make sense that he has a bar that's kind of hidden from the believers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So okay, you know what?
Okay.
They got that right, so that's fine. And you know, Michael is the one that's kind of like running the show for the most part.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense.
I would have looked that up myself, but I wanted to bring this up just because I wanted to know if you guys figured it out on your own, because I didn't know Raziel.
I didn't figure out Raziel, but I did kind of figure out the other two.
Yeah.
Why are they cats?
I mean, it explains it in the story.
Yeah.
I know that's why I'm asking you guys.
So
why were they cats?
it explains it that the reason why they're shown as cats is because that is what Neon White specifically is seeing them as.
It is the easiest for them to absorb the conversation with.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're like they're not.
okay,
they can't witness their true form. So that's what their mind.
I understand that part. Why are they cats?
Did you see how much of a pussy Neon White was?
Fair enough.
Yeah. So actually, I think that we're kind of segueing into one part because we're kind of going into more side characters more.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got just to kind of go through, as you go through the levels, there are hidden gifts that you get once you like beat a level to a certain degree. I think it's when you get like the gold medal, you're allowed to like find the gift in the level.
It's just once you complete the level.
Okay, yeah. So once you complete the level, there are hidden gifts that appear that you can gather. And these require like a little bit, like you have to like conserve some ammo to kind of play the level in a certain way to get to them.
Second best part of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was like you had to play differently because like the goal of the mission was different. Because once you get the gift, the level starts over from the beginning as if you just started it. So it doesn't like...
You don't have to pick up the gift and then complete the level. You just need to pick up the gift.
Yeah, and I love that. Once you get all of the gifts for Raz specifically, because there's I believe there's 22 gifts per neon and then like 12 per cat, I believe. So there's a lot of gifts.
I love my boy Raz.
A ton of them.
You might say one gift per level minus like 2.
Yeah. But no, I loved Raz.
Raz is my boy. Go ahead.
Once you finish them, once you get the gifts for everyone, for all the cats, per like every like 3 or 4 gifts or something, you'll get a reward. And it shows each neon's like the main neon. So there's neon yellow, white, red, violet, and green. Those are the main people.
Well,
all the
green
other neons
is not really in it.
He's not really in it. However, at like you see each neons, each of the main neons, like you see drawings of how they view either Raz or you know, Mikey. You'll see how they see him. So like I think red is also cat. Violet's kind of a fucked up thing. Yellow shows more of like kind of a laid back guy. Green shows a very grizzled like businessman giving missions. That is what each of them sees, which kind of lends to the fact that they're all perceiving these angels differently, which I think was pretty cool.
It was amazing. I that detail was amazing.
I know I've been talking for a while, but there's one other thing. Like this is where I talked about earlier. Is like the one thing that I hate the most is that I played it wrong, and I played each level without getting gifts, and then I played each level again from the start to the end to get each level. So I played the game twice, pretty much, to get each level. I didn't give gifts to other neon until the end of the game. So I had to sit there giving gifts to each person. And the animation for giving gifts never got faster. You could not skip it. You could not make it faster. And I wanted to rip my hair out. I'm fine with seeing, if you see it once, completely fine.
Agreed.
I'm fine seeing anything once. If you see it more than like maybe 3 times and it doesn't let you skip it, I hate you. I genuinely.
Okay, so you have this experience because you had to give gifts in bulk at the end of the game. That still applies to us. I don't know when you gave gifts, Phoenix, but I basically ran through the entire act and then gave gifts out.
Same.
So I had to sit through 10 gifts at a time, which is still bad.
Yes.
It is still incredibly boring. It is still mind-numbing watching that little animation of the gift going woo, 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 and then waiting for all the eyes to fill up the little bar, and then you're sitting there being like, let's get it on. I've already given you 3 gifts at this point. You don't have to keep doing this.
Exactly. I just like, guy, just give me the mission. Give me the dialogue that I'm going to skip, because I skipped that dialogue because I didn't want to fucking read it.
Well, the dialogue was good, though. That was like the better part of the story.
My problem with it is, like, they were fine. I read the first little few. After I had to do it in bulk for a pound of time, I think it took me, not counting having to do the levels for the neons, because when you do the neons gifts, you'll get to do special missions after like every 2 gifts or every other gift.
Best part of the game, in my opinion. That's the first best.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved Violet's levels the most, actually. Like, her levels were really fun.
Like, the third one was amazing, where it had you just like, you're like, I gotta think on my feet because I'm about to fucking die at every corner. I loved that level.
Oh yeah, Violet had a lot of really.
Yeah, no, I loved those special missions. I loved the restrictions they gave on you. So like Red, you had to use it, like you had to like extend the use of your weapons to get to the end. Violet, you had to go super fast, and you could not land until a certain point, because otherwise you would just die, because her levels are covered in spikes. Yellow's was awesome because it removed the discard ability for your cards. So you couldn't use Dominion to grapple. You couldn't use Stomp. You couldn't do anything like that. You had to rely on your base movement.
Yeah.
And like whatever the game gave you.
It's just really cool. There's one level in particular where you're kind of like moving around a mountain, and there's this one area where there are a bunch of heads that fire at you, and you have to like duck behind cover until they stop firing at you, and then keep going and go up the mountain even further. And it felt like a stealth mission, which is completely out of the realm of what this game does. But it felt like such a breath of fresh air playing
So
through
good.
it.
Yeah, oh god, like Whites and Violets were the best mission.
Whites?
No, not White. Violet and Yellow. My bad. Violet and Yellow's were the best missions, like side missions.
What about the secret last character that I'm not revealing who it is? What about theirs, where it's a glorified jumping simulator?
Oh.
I hated theirs. Worst gifts, because you just walk forward and jump.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it. They're not secret levels. They give you a time at the end, but like, what does the time actually mean? Because there's one path.
Mm-hmm. And
there are no shortcuts. There are no speed texts. It's just holding W and pressing space
again. Get. It's fine. I just. Yeah, so they misheard something because the character says
Don't
again
say
a lot.
I'm not with this. This was Evan.
He
misheard. Yeah, he misheard again as Gyat, and it has never been the same since.
Well, because the dude like rolls his G weirdly. It's like again. Because he adds like a Y in there.
I've never heard him say again. I've only heard Gyat.
It's all I hear in my dreams. Oh my god. Michael, please.
Been on that Sigma grind set so long, all I see is Gyat. All I hear is Gyat.
All I am is Gyat.
Anyways.
But yeah, that... Like, if they had just included a way to... Like, they already had the skip dialogue. If they just included the ability to skip the animations...
Yeah.
Like, I don't like listen, and I like I'm gonna bring up this because this is like the most recent example I can come up with is like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. You had animations that would repeat every time. but you had the option to skip them. That is literally the only thing I was begging for other than death when I was doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is like the lowest point for me for Neon White is having to deal with the gifts. Not even the gifts themselves, just having to deal with the animations. That is the only thing I dealt with.
I was spamming escape, right click, left click, spacebar, even though I knew it did nothing, just praying that the developers would see my desperation and just skip the damn animation, come down from their cushy seats in their, I don't know, probably like Oregon-based headquarters and just bless my game with their skip animation button. It
Did
never
you just
happened.
look up where they were
obviously.
based?
No, I took a guess.
Oh, okay. I was like, don't tell me you were stalling that sentence just to look up where they were from.
Oh my god, it was just so bad. However, do you want to learn some little time saves that I learned after being in that animation for like 20 minutes per Neon?
I would love to hear your time saves.
When you hit give gift,
Uh-huh.
there is a brief second of time
Small
where
one.
you can hit, it's very small, where you can hit F to skip the black screen. And then it goes through the animation. Once it does this bullshit of saying, "Hey, dialogue unlocked," even though you can see that it was unlocked on the fucking screen. Anyways, after that plays, if it's dialogue, you can immediately skip after that and just skip the dialogue. If it's a level, you have a brief moment of time where you can hit F to skip the black screen to get to the animation of the hand opening, which you also can't skip. So yeah, that is my time save of like maybe like half a second.
I think half a second is being generous. I think it's probably closer to a quarter
Listen,
of a second.
listen, man. We do what we must because we can. All right.
It's a game about speedrunning. You need to take the
They're
time.
like, yeah. So we actually have an optimization for if you give all the gifts at once, which is faster to beat time. You do this, and there's a brief moment of time, and like I'm explaining it like I'm actually explaining like an actual speedrun tech. Like on the first frame after the animation ends, there's a brief moment of time. You can hit it, but it's a frame perfect skip because you can lose time actually.
And
If a photon of light comes through your window, this might change your life forever.
you might save a frame rule if you do 3 or 4 of these time saves.
So I do want to comment on the individual Neon story then, if neither of you went through it.
Please
So,
do.
like I said, I feel like it is the stronger part of the story because it does make each of the characters that are just so mind-numbingly generic actually have a little bit of substance to them. And their delivery time, to the developer's credit, is amazing because the memory where Yellow, you remember, like you guys I think it's the one where you have a beer with him, like for the first time, and you get real chummy with him and you're like, oh man, I like this. That memory appears right after big story event.
Yeah.
And it is like a kick in the gut. Because you're like, damn, I thought this guy was kind of annoying for a second. And now I see he's a G. Like, what the fuck? Same thing with Violet. You guys say you hate Violet. I'm up there with you. You guys, as in Barn.
No, like
I can't hate
I
any
didn't say I
character if
hated.
I've never heard a word of
I
dialogue.
didn't say I
that's being
hated
said.
her. I just said that I don't like her as much. Like, so here's the thing. I say that I skipped it because I did give some gifts and I was actually invested in doing the dialogue. It's after I had to sit there mind-numbingly for a while that I just started skipping. It was about halfway through their stuff. But I did do a few of them, and when I was like kind of reading the story, I was like, okay, I'll actually read the dialogue. I did like them. I do like that the characters do have a little bit of stories, and like they're actually chumming around. I think that's cool. I just had it in the worst way possible, where I was like, okay, I want literally anything else to do than sitting here in the visual novel section for like half an hour.
No, absolutely. I completely understand.
It highlighted something because if you do it that way, even if you do it like how you guys did it, how you give all 10 gifts once you finish the mission, it's a game about going fast, and you do not go fast in that.
Yeah,
and that then maybe that's a me issue. I'm completely fine with that being a me issue. If that's not, it doesn't bother anyone, it's whatever. It's just an opinion I have. But like, it's just like, God, it sucked. I didn't like that specific aspect to it. I was mad.
Fair enough.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's why, like, I completely understand, but like when I say the delivery time of the story, I really honestly mean each of them. You get a memory at such a peak moment in the story for that specific character that it does make it a little bit more bearable. Like I'm okay with Violet purely. I'm not okay with Violet. Never mind, that's a lie. I am close to being okay with Violet because of her side story.
I did like the specific aspect where you saw the memories. The memories were the cool part.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the levels.
And the levels were cool, but the memories I thought were actually nice because they, I'm gonna say it because I do want to kind of say this because this is where I actually really like the story, and because it just kind of changed some things for me. Is that so? The reason why you're all in heaven, why you're all dead, is because you guys went on one last score because Neon Green was your boss of your group of assassins and robbers and whatnot. That's how you guys are all connected throughout the game. As you go through and you do the neons, you give the gifts, you'll eventually unlock 2 memories per neon. One memory the day before, or maybe I'm maybe mixing it, but you have one memory the day before the heist and one day of the heist of their death scene. You do that for each neon, including Neon Green, who has 4 gifts that you can get throughout the very last levels of the game, which require you to do a little bit more to get to them.
Those are the ones that are just to lift the veil. Those are the ones where it's literally a walk forward and jump simulator.
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about when we said it was just again.
It's so bad.
I mean, I kind of liked it because you did a lot of work to get to them.
Yeah.
And so needing to do that's whatever. But with that, you have 4 memories to go through because you're remembering something of each of you and Green, including the time when both you and Green died. And then that leads into the actual prologue of the game because I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, what you say in the last memory for Green is what you say at the beginning of the game.
Maybe.
I believe. I cannot remember. I could be talking out my ass, but I believe that's the case. I loved the stories and kind of the relationship they had beforehand. White and red were a thing. White and yellow were bros. White and violet, big brother annoying little sister, and then white and green, mentor and apprentice. And while it was a fucked up situation because Neon Green, Green and White had a very toxic relationship with each other.
Well, White had a toxic relationship with Green. Green didn't care.
Yeah, they had a toxic relationship. Not specifically, he cared.
Yeah.
But I loved that aspect of it, and that actually I don't know. I loved that part of it.
No, it was good. I do have to agree, but as somebody who didn't go through it, Evan doesn't have much to say because he's a wimpy baby that had to rush through the game to get all the dev times.
If I hadn't, I probably would have reached 100 hours in the game. My commentary on the story is that Neon White has a tank top that says "I don't think" on it, and I think it looks fucking stupid.
He doesn't think, so therefore he does not am. But you actually reminded me of something, and I don't care who needs to go and record an end of mission. We need to show what
Not bad for a dead guy.
If you turn off music in the game, which, by the way, at the very beginning, the music of the game is not bad. It does get a little bit repetitive, so listening to your own is preferred, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, like, the music's good.
Yeah, I don't have any trouble with the music at all. I think the music is good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But if you turn off the music and you get to the end mission, the, like, outro kind of, like, I think it's a stinger or whatever it is it's called. Like, the outro sounding stuff is gone. It's just all gone. It's silence. So it's just, you hear, but it's just and Evan's the one that found this. Why did you hate yourself, Evan? Why are you not listening to your own music while playing this game and playing it with them?
Because I was talking to other people at the time, and then I paused the music so I could continue talking to my friends. And then I beat the level, and I broke out laughing because it's so awkward.
Not bad for a dead guy.
Not bad
It's
for a
just,
dead guy.
and like you pointed out, it's also the speed at which he talks. It just feels like he's trying to rush it on, so it makes it all that more awkward.
Yeah, and he's got like his finger is really long.
It really is.
Like it's really long. Why is his finger so long? What else needs to be said about Neon White? It's got a phenomenal gameplay loop that goes. Okay, this is what I'll say. My main issue with the gameplay is that you could probably cut out about half of the game and it would be great. I think around mission 5, 6, you kind of reach the peak, and you could have 7 be the finale, but it goes on for another like 5 missions after that. Hey, it's really drawn out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does go on for a while. The missions themselves kind of get a bit more interesting, but the story of it does not. And it could definitely have been cut and made a little bit shorter. I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I kind of like the fact that there were a lot of varieties of missions.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason why I enjoyed the game as much as I did was because I was like, for a big portion of me playing this game, I was competing with you, Evan, in your times. And that was probably the funnest like time I had with Neon
Oh,
White.
I had such a great time the first 2 missions, exploring the missions, doing them better, coming back and seeing that Barn beat all of my times. And being like, all right,
Yeah.
gotta dust off the hands.
Yeah,
Time to
so-
dive back into those levels.
Yeah, so just to say, I was the last one to start playing this game when we decided to play it. And when I started, I saw that I was there were four of my friends out this game. So I was the last place in all of them. And I started I was like, okay, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It bothers me. It bothers me a lot. And then I just I went mentally insane for like a few days. And I did everything in my power to beat every person's score. And for a while, I did have all the all the first missions. I was the highest one. And then Evan saw that. I was like, no, we can't let this stand. So he did to me what I did to Phoenix and him. And it just became a loop, but we couldn't have kept that for long because we wanted to do it in like 2 weeks.
You spent 12 hours on the first 2 missions.
Yes. Yeah. I spent, I did not even get through like halfway. I wasn't even like a quarter of the way through the game. I was on the first 2 missions of the game for like the first hour.
Out of 10 missions.
15.
Was it
I think there are
13.
13. I thought there were 12.
12,
Still.
13, I think.
12 or 13 out of 12 missions in a game that's supposed to take 11 hours to complete? You took 12 hours to complete the first 2.
Yep.
I would not trade any of that time for a faster completion. If I'm
No.
honest, I had so much fun in those like 12 hours back and forth.
Yeah, it was so fun because I would talk to him and be like, oh wait, you did that? How do you do it? And I would show him the tech I used to do it. His mind would be blown. And then in response, he would show me another tech where he beat me on a level. And my mind was blown because I was like, I didn't even think about doing the level that way. It's just such a fun, competitive, like friendly competitive game. And it was just like, it was so fucking fun. And that's what got me into like getting into Neon White. But because we kind of stopped that and kind of focused on beating the game to do it, I didn't have as much as fun time with the later parts of the game because we weren't doing much of that competition anymore. So that's where kind of like the fun went away. But definitely if like this, like again, I think like you said earlier, there's not much else to say about Neon White, but I definitely recommend if you have friends that like speed games, get like have at least like maybe 2 or 3 of your friends, get a few friends together and just race.
And ideally, don't look up the primo strategies for each level. Try and find them on your own, because when you don't know them and then you find a little tech to complete the level faster, and then you could talk about that tech that you found with your friends, and they could show you techs that they found that make the level faster. It's so much fun. It is genuinely a phenomenal time.
It is the best time. I had so much fun with it. Yeah, it's definitely a game you have to play with friends to do it, unless you want to go for the global, which if you want to go for global times, just a warning, unless you cheat, you will not be able to get most of these times. I'm sorry, you will not.
Yeah, I think a lot of these times are tasks, or they like, you'll go through a level and you'll see like some of the best times are like 31 seconds, 30 seconds and 950 milliseconds, and then like that's 4th place, and then 3rd place is like 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Like there's some levels where it takes me just 10 seconds to get to like halfway of the level, and there's other people like, yeah, so I beat the level in 10 seconds. Like, what?
Yeah. Where it's just like the movement. I am moving in this level, and me moving in this level, before I get to the first gun, 3 seconds has elapsed, and somehow by the time that I pick up the first gun with like all the speed tech in the world, the fastest time in the world has already beaten the level. Okay, sure.
It definitely is a little frustrating. That's why I just kind of like focus on doing with your friends. I mean, on one of the levels, like me and Evan are like pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
I think it was sprint, and we are like bottom, like we are like top 200 in the world, I believe.
Yeah,
like,
someone
around there.
very, very close.
Yeah, we're very close.
We optimize those times back and forth between each other a lot.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about like Neon White, like gameplay and story wise. It was just, ooh, again, it's like a mixed bag because like gameplay's so fun, story was. Phoenix, you haven't said anything in a while. You had anything to?
There's a big reason why I didn't say anything. I wanted you guys to express the competitive level, because I did not compete in that in the slightest. There was, I had a few levels where I'm like, I want to get as close to the highest on the leaderboards that I can. There were like 5 levels that did that to me, but beyond that, I played to ace every level, and I didn't want to compete with anyone. Because I do like a solo experience, story-wise and gameplay-wise. If those can mesh, that's my style of game. So I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent here. I'll make it quick. The game is phenomenal, even without competing with a friend. It is dwarfed by actually competing, because on the few levels I did it, I had a blast. I can't deny it. It was fun, and I think there's one level where the rockets were introduced that I still have the best time out of the 3 of us, and I was like, you know what, I'm proud of that, and I get that. But even from a standpoint of playing it just for beating the game and getting the experience the developers wanted you to, it's still good. It's hard for me to articulate, but that's all I want to say. So don't be afraid to play it on your own. Don't be afraid, like, and I am casual as casual can be about this game. Do not be afraid if you have trouble with aiming or reflexes. Do not be warded off by having never played a platformer. The devs do walk you through a lot. And I feel like this game is for a lot of people. Don't play this game for the story. Play it for the gameplay and the learning experience of doing a speed game.
Exactly.
So, final thoughts, everyone? Have we covered everything that we want to talk about?
What was your favorite level?
Sprint.
Yeah, fair enough.
God, which one was it? I need to look it up because I have a video up. I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
I think my favorite was.
Oh no, it was Sprint.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my favorite was either. I think it was Mirror. It was a longer level, but it had some tech on it. But yeah, it was the one, Evan, that you're like, fuck that, I'm not getting a shorter time than what I have, and I have like 10 seconds on your time.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember exactly which
Yeah,
one
it was in the later half of the game, but I think it was Mirror. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover.
Okay. Yeah. But how would you rate it?
I would give Neon White an 11 out of 21 with a little asterisk that says, despite that, I highly recommend playing Neon White. It is a lot of fun. Do not go for dev times.
Yeah, do not do what he did. Do not do dev time on every single level. Oh, we didn't even go over. Oh my god, we did. Oh my god, I just remembered. We didn't go over what happens when you beat the game. Because we didn't really go into that. But there's one thing that you unlock when you beat the game, and you get every Neon story unlocked and everything. You will get the ability to do each like Neon's levels in a rush, like a level rush, including Neon White's, which has all 96 missions, like levels in the game, and you have to do that. There are two versions of each: the heaven level rush, and the hell level rush. Heaven lets you do it as much as you want. You can restart. You just have to beat it. Hell, you cannot die at all.
No dying, no restarting. Health is shared between levels,
and you can only heal twice. So yeah, like. We didn't go too much into it. I did try hell at least like once just to give it a shot. This was like when I first unlocked it, and I was like, yeah, I'll get a little bit of footage just to try it. It wasn't that bad. I just didn't have the best movement. It's just more of the time commitment to do it that I would be annoyed at.
Yeah,
I agree, man. But yeah, back to ratings. I don't want to think of hell rushes. They make me have like headaches.
But your rating, dude.
My rating, I'd have to give it a B minus. For my scale, it's above middle of the road, and it would be A plus if the story was non-existent.
Okay. I can't remember my ranking level, so I'm just gonna say I recommend it. Don't play for the story. Do not play for the story. You will be disappointed. You might like characters, and like again, we like the characters. I would definitely recommend not like getting involved for the story. The story is not the most important thing in this game.
The devs added a fast forward on all unseen dialogue for a reason, and I used it, and I enjoyed the game quite a bit more because of that.
Yep.
Even though you gave it a 11.
Works much better as a collection of levels that have nothing to do with anything else.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
So it probably just gonna give it like, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10 story wise, and like gameplay wise, 15 out of 10. I'm sorry, 15 out of 10. I fucking love the gameplay.
That's fair. That's the whole reason why it's not D tier for me. But anyways, let us roll for the next game. I want to do it this time.
You want to do it?
I
Here,
give me the list.
I got the link for you.
All right, I have spanned the wheel. We're playing Charles.
No,
I actually have all the names on here.
I have here. These are the ones that are right now that are left. We have 6 games left.
Oh yeah, we have done 3. Damn. All right. I'll stream it. Give it a second. There we go. I forgot we had Chrono Trigger on this list.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
We are playing
Oh my God.
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
I can't believe the one game I fucking mentioned.
It's consistent. This happened last time.
Why?
the first time.
Yeah, it happened with Signal. It happened.
It happened with Armacrog and Signalis.
What is wrong with me?
All right, so welcome back. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm also doing well. Why am I here though, Mr. Barn?
Well, dude, have you played Neon White?
I actually have. Evan, have you played Neon White?